2023. Ron Harris here, your MD Online editor. And we can talk about other things. Of course, it's Ask Ron Live. It's your chance to ask me anything. Or you guys can talk amongst yourselves in the chat. It's always cool. But I want to kick it off with questions to how many of you are intentionally getting lean for the summer, doing what a lot of people just call a summer cut. I kind of am. I mean, I've cleaned up my diet a lot over the past couple months. I'm not really eating any junk anymore, except for these Aussie bites. Not really junk, but they're very high calorie. If you guys go to Costco, I don't know how many, if they all have it, but in the bakery section of the Costco here and the local one in Massachusetts that I go to, these Aussie bites, these little cookie kind of things, flaxseed oil, they're healthy, but they're 130 calories per little wad. Look like little fat hockey pucks. Anyway, I'm really not down in weight much. I'm like between 220, 223, depending on how much food's in me. I wake up at 220. It's funny. I like to see on the digital scale, like in my underwear or out of the shower with nothing, 220.0. Then I can say I'm exactly 220. And I've been that a few times. It's kind of creepy. That's exactly 100 kilograms. So I've started mine. I honestly would need to do more cardio if I wanted to drop some weight. I would need to be in more of a caloric deficit. Woe is me thing. I always say I get screwed out of cardio but that's bullshit. I could do more if I really made the time for it. We've all got 24 hours in a day. I complain because I wake up, my morning routine, you guys all can share your morning routine if you want. I wake up, make my breakfast, eat my breakfast. My breakfast is 2 whole eggs, a half cup of egg whites, close to a cup of dry oats, like between 3/4 and a cup. It's like a little more than 3/4. Some blueberries in that. I was using natural honey. Now it's stuck inside the bottle. I can't get any more to come out. So I'm using a little bit of maple syrup. Blueberries, coffee, some collagen protein in the coffee. And then I also have some Nitrotech. I always have a shake in the refrigerator with protein powder already mixed up for various uses. I always put some in my coffee, especially with my 3:30 p.m. meal that I have. 3:30, 3:45, it's always in that. It's a turkey burger with cheese on a potato bread roll. It's really not enough protein for my needs for a meal. I like to get like 50 grams of protein. So I have my coffee and I put the protein shake in there and boost it up to about 50 grams. So anyway, yeah, I've definitely trimmed down a little bit. If I want to keep going, I'm going to have to kick up my cardio, and I'll have to make time for it. But curious about you guys. Maybe you're not even talking about this. Maybe you're talking about something completely different. We'll see on the live chat. That's why we're here, guys. It's Friday. We're on the live chat. I don't know how to get rid of this. Iron World makes cool commercials, and they have an ad on the side here that's like always in the way of my group chat, the live chat. But let's see. Dave Manfred, always try to stay as lean as possible, maybe more cardio now. Yeah, I try to maintain a pretty good condition. I shouldn't say try. It's in my control. It's in all our control. I stay fairly lean. I can always see some kind of abs or some kind of muscle separation. But in the summer, I do like to get much, much leaner. Because here in Massachusetts, we don't have a very long summer. It feels like summer now. It's like 90 degrees today. It's really hot. It was 90 yesterday too. But yeah, June, July, August, and by I'd say September is still pretty warm. You can go to the beach first couple weeks in September here, and then after that it starts cooling down again usually. Although I don't know, with this global warming. Oh, good, that's a car. I thought somebody was starting up another lawnmower. There's always somebody mowing their lawn or a leaf blower or something, because I'm on a suburban street. There's houses all over around me. So anyway, yeah. Dave Manfred, try to stay like 6 week outlook all year. Yeah, 6 weeks out. To be realistic, I'd say I stay about 10 weeks out. 10 weeks out most of the year. Where if I really want to get into true contest condition down to glutes and everything, it would take me 10 weeks bearing down on the diet and the cardio. But summertime, I do like to look more like 6 weeks out. Like I could just drop the hammer, and a little over a month, I could be ready for the stage if I really wanted to. Not that I'm going to. I realized today I made a post that I've competed in 4 different decades. I quit competing in July 2013 was my last show, but I competed from 1989 to 2013. So that's the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, and I guess can we call that decade the 2010s? don't know if we even have a name for that decade. So that's 4 different decades. I realized I think I've been alive for 7 different decades. If I was born in 1969, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s, 2020s. Somehow I've been alive. I'm 53, but I've been around for 7 decades, different decades. That's pretty crazy. Or is my math all messed up? Let's see. Here we go. Dave Manfred. Duke Nukem. Great video game back in the day. No summer cut for me. I stay lean year round. Yeah, I agree. That's the way to go. I mean, I've definitely stayed way leaner than I used to. Over the winter months, I used to get, as Lee Haney would say, Porky the Pig type of look. I don't do that anymore. I never let my body fat get up like that anymore. It's not cool. Casserole says hot water or vegetable juice first thing in the morning. No, I mean, I don't do any of those. I drink a little bit of water and then I have my breakfast. Yeah, I mean, everyone's got their little morning routine for health and stuff, and that's cool. Glenn Hill over in the UK started mine about 4 weeks ago. Crohn's Lifter, happy Friday, everyone. Crohn's Lifter, yeah. You see, it's my son has ulcerative colitis, so I'm very sympathetic to those of you who deal with severe issues like that, like Crohn's and colitis. Definitely makes bodybuilding much more challenging because you really can't absorb food the way you're supposed to. That's why my son's only 145 pounds when I was well over 200 pounds at his age. He's 23. Let's see. Jefferson Briones, hey dude, is it good to keep calories stable during 2 months? Let's say 2,200 calories. Well, I mean, it depends on your goal. What are you trying to do? If you want to stay exactly where you are, and that's the calories that are keeping you exactly where you are, there you go. If you want to gain weight, you'd have to increase the calories. If you want to lose weight, you'd have to decrease the calories or increase your activity level and keep the calories the same. That balance, that calories in versus calories out, that's what we're always thinking about when it comes to fat loss or muscle gain. You have to be in a caloric surplus to gain. You have to be in a caloric deficit to lose. This doesn't make any sense what I'm doing with my hands. So let's see. Glenn Hill, do cardio all year round, so stay fairly lean, but cut my calories back and up cardio by 10 minutes each session. Good way to do it. Jefferson Brion to get if you want to get shredded, Jefferson, your calories, it depends on what's going on with your body now. If you go 2 months with the same amount of calories and you're losing weight, maybe that means you're increasing your activity level. You see what I'm saying? It's all a balance. So either your calories, if you want to drop fat from where you are right now, either your activity level needs to go up, increase, or your calories need to be decreased, go down. It's one or the other, or both. Our stuff, curious what you think the lowest protein intake is in prep. I've heard mentors at 600 calories daily, but that would be 150 grams max. I think it's differs by the individual. I mean, I remember, I'm a good friend of Jose Raymond's, and we talked about that a few times, and he used to go, I don't remember what the calories or the grams of protein were, but he used to try to eat as little as possible toward the very end of his preps to really get that shrink wrapped look and get the midsection real small and tight. Definitely eating an amount of food that probably would see most people losing muscle, but he didn't lose muscle. His body was just programmed to maintain muscle mass. But I mean, yeah, our stuff, I mean, the lowest amount, 600 calories for a male, adult male is crazy low. That's, we talk about the basal metabolic rate, which is just the amount of calories you need to function every day without zero, if you're just laying down all day, I guess, no activity level, just for your body to have normal function. And I'm just taking a wild guess, but I'm sure it's more than 600 for, Mentor was a guy who competed over 200 pounds. I think he competed around 220 to 230. I don't know how he was able to subsist on that tiny amount of calories. Our stuff, curious what you think the lowest protein, you already said that. You said it twice. You said 3 times in a row. Crohn's Lifter, no way, God bless him. Flares are no joke. Oh, the flare-ups. So yeah, my son's on mesamoline. Carlos Thomas Jr., who Giles had on. Oh, by the way, guys, we have 2 new videos up on this channel today. We put up a new episode of MD Global Muscle, Giles Thomas's show. He interviewed Emily Schruber. Emily, who was second to Natalia Coelho at the New York Pro in Physique. She was shredded out of her mind. Robin Strand and Joe Seaman, both from Canada, both doing open bodybuilding Sunday at the Toronto Pro. Great show. And then a couple hours later, we released MD Power Hour, where Giles and I did the Toronto Pro preview. We basically just covered open men in 212. We weren't familiar with anybody in Classic. The only other people in other divisions I really noticed was Lola Montez in figure. She won the Boston Pro, and she's probably my favorite to win this. Although I'm sure there's some other excellent competitors. Daniel Segura, how lean would you say I'm in my profile picture? Your profile picture on my screen is like the size of it's tiny, man. I can't tell from looking at that. It's literally like, it's not even the size of a pea. It's like, oh man, it's tiny. It's the profile picture. There's no way I can tell you, but it doesn't matter. 7.5 weeks out in the picture right now, 7 weeks out. I mean, do you have a coach? Your coach should be keeping you on track to being lean enough for a contest. You know, I find with the first show, a lot of guys, if they've never competed before, I don't know if Daniel, if you've done many shows or not, but if you have, you know exactly how lean you're supposed to be. And if you've done preps before, you should have a good idea of how long it takes you to get that look. I mean, how many weeks roughly it takes you to diet. You know, some people have faster metabolisms, and if they stay fairly lean, there are people out there that can get in shape, like contest shape, in 6 to 8 weeks. There's not many of them. Most people need more like 12 to 16 weeks. 16 weeks is like the standard, but that gives you time to really sort of gradually diet down. So Daniel, I don't know, but I assume you have a coach or you've competed before. But when you ask me to say how lean, you're going to want me to come up with some body fat percentage guess. And my guess is never. I'm good at guessing weight. When I know how tall a person is, I can look at them and say, okay, you are 222 or something, and I'm usually pretty close. Body fat, I'm not. And it doesn't matter because you need to be in contest condition. Contest condition is least amount of fat possible. You want to see maximum muscle definition, separation between the muscle groups, deep cuts. A lot of guys go by the veins, and that's a bad idea because I know plenty of guys who they don't have to be very lean, but they have huge veins and thin skin, and you can always see veins on them even when there's like no muscle separation. So they'll get close to a mirror and flex hard, and all these veins pop out, and they go, I'm ripped. But I'm telling you, on stage, they look smooth as butter because they have, you know, almost no muscle separation. Don't go by veins, guys. Go by the muscle separation between your muscle groups. When those are deep and clear in all your muscle groups, back, chest, shoulders, quads, hams, glutes, when you have deep cuts in all those, you are ready for the stage. Glenn Hill, what would you guess is your current body fat level? What do you aim to get down to? Do you go more for weight? I really go by the mirror. I mean, because I don't test my body fat. You know, I'm not averse to it. I don't think there's anything wrong with body fat testing. It's a great tool if you have access to something like a bod pod, a DEXA scan, something that's really accurate that you can get to on a regular basis. It's not going to break your bank account. Maybe you can get it done for free. I don't know your situation, but I go by the mirror. You know, I look for like deep cuts. I look for my abs to be really cut, and when my abs are really cut and there's veins all over my serratus and my abs, and tons of veins on my legs, I know I'm pretty damn lean. I'm pretty close to contest condition. That's usually where I get down to by about July. So give me another month and that's where I'll be. Weight wise, for me, that typically works out to around 212, 214, that range for me. I'm down to 5'7.5". I was 5'8.25", maybe 5'8.5" at my high point. A giant. Yeah, right. Daniel Segura, thanks for the tip, Ron. If both are on point for Toronto, do you take Ian or Hassan? Tough call. It's a tie. Ian, it's a tie score. They both win. Man, they're both great. I really want to see what they look like. I really want to see if Ian's been able to fix that issue with his lower lats, where they seem to have atrophied at the Olympia. He said it was a posing issue. He wasn't posing them right, but I don't know, man. I'm an Ian fan. I like him as a person. I like his physique. He's got that grainy Dorian Yates type of density, condition, all that stuff. He reminds me of Dorian. He's super strong, working man's bodybuilder, Ian Valliere. But Hassan, I also like Hassan a lot too. More of the round, full look to the muscles. Just a totally different look. Two very different looks with those guys. I'd have to be there when they come out, and then I'll tell you. But So we're doing a live coverage after judging. We're going to be live here on this channel, going over the call outs and all that with the footage. And then we'll do the same thing for the finals. So that is going to happen. Judging is 10 a.m. So assume it takes like 2.5 hours to get through that, all those divisions, maybe more. We're going to go right after that. And then finals begin at 3 p.m. Eastern. And I'm hoping by 6 p.m. it's all wrapped up at the latest. And then we can go live and wrap up the results. So we'll do that right here on this channel. I think I saw the Mentor intake on a John Hanson interview. Yeah. Mentor was kind of strange. He was a strange guy. A brilliant man. Brilliant man. He was definitely a unique individual. He wasn't like I say this, I've said this many times. I never met the guy. I was around him a few times, more than a few times, at Gold's Gym Venice, where I trained in 91, almost all year in 91. In 92, I was already starting to transition more to there was a world gym where I was closer to, it was in Pasadena. I was out that way. So Gold's was like 30 miles for me each way. But I went there all in 91. Anyway, Mensa was there. He was training people, and I just never had the balls come up to me. He did not look approachable. He wasn't really a friendly guy. I never saw him smile. Very serious. I know he was always like kind of bitter about Arnold beating him at that 80 Olympia. And he retired after that, obviously. So the Truth One. Yeah, I've started a summer cut, prepping for a show, currently carb cycling, medium high carb days for 3 days, followed by 4 days low. I do high intensity on spin bike on the high days, then LISS, which is low sustain. What's that list for? God, my memory is just going. It's really going on me. LISS is like sustained, lower intensity is sustained rate. What does LISS stand for? Help me out, guys. Jeez. Bipolar mom and former adult probation officer. I'm perpetually dieting, Ron. Finally found a combo that was working heavyweight and no cardio. Yeah, someone posted a clip from the late Arthur Jones. Arthur Jones died long ago. He was the one who invented Nautilus. And he was a very convincing speaker, very authoritative when he spoke about anything related to training, especially. And it was a clip from a talk show interview where he said, weight training is better, superior cardio than actual running or cardio, which is it's complete bullshit. It was completely inaccurate, but he made you feel like you were a moron if you didn't agree with everything he was saying. That's how he was. He was very kind of an arrogant guy. But I saw that and I was like, no, he was dead wrong about that. You need to do cardio. Your weight training is not cardio. Coach Greg Doucette has spoken about this many times. You want to have a healthy heart and lungs. You want to really burn more calories. I guess if you're really running around in your weight training, like not resting at all and gasping for breath the whole time, yeah, that's cardio. But who trains like that? Why would you want to train like that? Wouldn't you want to rest, lift a little heavier weight? I mean, I would. Let's see. Nick, how are you, Ron? Hope everything's going well. Yeah. James Gary, working my hardest to lose body fat. Good, James. You'll look and feel so much better. Truth One, what's your diet and cardio looking like right now, Ron? I eat the same shit every day. My cardio, I should do cardio separate from my weights because otherwise I end up not doing enough cardio because I'm on push-pull legs as my weight training. It's a lot. Plus I have to stretch. If I don't stretch after the workouts, like my mobility is worthless. I got to do abs like every other workout. So it's usually not a lot of time because usually I got to be back here by noon, either for an interview or for conference calls or something like that. I need to start we have an assault bike here that my wife bought it 3-4 years ago. So I can do cardio at home if I want. So I walk the dog twice, but that's not the most intense cardio. It's not like I'm running or anything. But diet, I eat the same shit every day. So meal one, eggs, 2 whole eggs, 1/2 cup egg whites, 3/4 cup oats dry, microwave for 3 minutes. Blueberries. I probably need to cut the maple syrup, a little bit of maple syrup, like a spoonful, if I want to really get lean. With blueberries, coffee with some collagen protein and some protein powder in that. That's a big breakfast. About an hour to 90 minutes later, I have my pre-workout. I've been doing Euphoric by Muscle Tech with their creatine in there. Train. After training, I have 40, 50 grams of their Nitrotech for Muscle Tech, so whey protein isolate, along with about a cup of sugary cereal, Fruit Loops, Apple Jacks, Cocoa Puffs, something like that. Hour and a half after that, I have about 8 ounces of chicken. I do chicken thigh, tastes better. It's fattier, I know. Chicken thigh with about cup and a half of white rice. That's my 1 o'clock meal. 3:30 is a turkey breast burger on potato bread bun with a slice of cheese, an apple. Again, I have the coffee with collagen powder and protein powder. My 6:30 p.m. meal is ground turkey, salsa with some chips, tortilla chips, and I have the 3 Aussie bites. And my last meal of the day is either a sirloin burger with some almonds and green beans, or salmon, and again with almonds, green beans. That's my cardio. I usually do a little cardio after every weight training session, 20, 30 minutes. Let's see. So now thank you, Glenn Hill. It's low intensity steady state, LISS, low intensity steady state type of cardio. Dane, not cutting, still trying to gain, waiting on my new diet now as I've hit a wall. Yeah, it's tough when you're really not satisfied with the amount of muscle mass you have. It's tough to cut because then you're not gaining. But you know what? A lot of times you're stuck because your body's just like, okay, you've been doing this to me for the same shit to me forever. You've been giving me extra calories, low cardio. A lot of times if you switch things up and go on like a mini cut, even like for a month, cut your calories, do the cardio, drop a little body fat, then go back to your gaining, you'll find your body responds again. It's like a reset. This is why a lot of guys, a lot of competitors, you found, you make some of your best gains in the couple months after a competition because you just spent typically 16 weeks, 4 months, lower calories, lower carbs, extra cardio, getting all depleted, losing all your body fat. You do the show and now your body's like a sponge. It's ready to grow again. You know, you have to ease back in the heavy training so you don't snap a tendon or anything. But when you put the calories back in, you take the cardio down, don't take it all the way up, but take it down about half. You'll find you make really good gains after that. Most competitors will tell you that. Gregorio Miller, thought on the Colorado experiment. So the Colorado experiment was done in 1971, I think, with a young Casey Viator. So Arthur Jones of Nautilus. Arthur Jones used him as a guinea pig to show how little training in terms of frequency and volume it would take to put on a bunch of muscle. Now, it was kind of a sham because Casey had already been a champion bodybuilder. He had already been Mr. America. Mr. America, not teenage. Mr. America at the age of 18. Youngest Mr. America of all time. And he looked like a grown-ass man at 18. So he was like, and he had lost a ton of weight because he got in an accident at work. I think he lost half a finger. I think they put it back on him. But he didn't train for months and months. He lost a shit ton of muscle. That was his before. So he put on 67 pounds of muscle in like a month. You know, you can Google the Colorado experiment to get the exact numbers because I'm sure I'm off here. But it was something like 30 days, 67 pounds of muscle. But he was really regaining. About half of that was just muscle he already had before. And then he put on new muscle tissue. And it was like, I think it was 3 very short workouts a week. Super high intensity, all Nautilus machines. I've also heard, though, that it was a lie. But I've heard, and I don't know if this is true, but maybe someone knows, that he was actually doing plenty of extra standard volume training on the side that either they weren't reporting or that Jones didn't know about. I don't know. But, you know, it was really a marketing tool for Nautilus, and it worked well. He was a genius when it came to marketing, Arthur Jones. Genius. That's why he became very, very wealthy. Bipolar mom, former liberation officer. Working on increasing my NEAT and getting my daily steps. NEAT. What does that stand for again? I know I suck. And I could look it up on my phone, except I'm using my phone to stream this. NEAT. NEAT. God, help me out, guys. What would I do without you? James Gary, I've tried the beginner program for the Colorado experiment. It was awesome for my body type. Yeah, it's very short, very high intensity workouts. Those workouts are perfect for people that are short on time, for sure. Bipolar mom again. Currently, I'm cross training for a 60-mile cycling ride in a couple weeks run. It's a long way to ride a bike. Truth one, exact reason why I can't do push-pull legs. After heavy back, I got zero energy for buys and rear delts, let alone cardio, lol. Same with chest and heavy chest. Zero energy for anything else. Yeah, it's hard to do, say, like chest, shoulders, triceps. Maybe then you got to do abs, then you got to do cardio, then you got to stretch. It's tough to do all that in like 2 hours. 2 hours is a long time to be like training at the gym. So I love push-pull legs, but I do agree if you're doing cardio, which you should be, it's kind of a challenge because when you do it after that, it's a lot. You're already tired. You already want to get the hell out of there. I mean, ultimately, ideally you would do your cardio first thing in the morning, right? Just get out of the way. I hate making my dog wait. I feel guilty because he's holding his poop and his pee until I take him on his walk. And I feel like maybe he's in pain. So I don't want to make him wait any longer for his walk. So I cook my breakfast, eat my breakfast, and then we're out the door. So if I was doing cardio first, then I'd cook my breakfast. That's another like 30, 40 minutes. My poor dog Branch would have to wait to go poop and pee. And I don't want to do that to the poor little pup, little pit bull pup. Let's see, Daniel Segura. Do you think artificial sweeteners affect how lean you can get? No. Lane Norton, BioLane, on his Instagram channel and his YouTube channel, he's gone over this. He's got a lot of science, a lot of studies to back up. It does not affect getting. We saw Ross Flynn get shredded, but then coaches like Hani Rambod say he takes out those sweeteners during prep. I mean, the science says they don't have any effect, but a lot of coaches, they don't want to even take that chance. Especially, Hani works with the Olympia champions. He's got Hadi Chupin. He's got Chris Bumstead. He's got Derek Lunsford. He's not taking any chances with these people. So they don't want to look back and say, maybe we should have taken out that equal or sweet and low. Then maybe we would have won. But for the average person, I use them all the time. I don't think there's a problem with them. We saw Ross Lang, bipolar mom again. I've been eating tortilla chips around. They work for me. Yeah, I mean, gluten-free. It's just a carb. I'm not talking about Doritos. I'm talking about plain tortilla chips, like made from corn. You can get multigrain ones too, but I usually go with the corn ones. I mean, it's just a carb. It's a clean carb. I'm not talking about Cool Ranch Doritos or fiery roasted devil Doritos or whatever the hell they have these days. Yeah, I mean, I crumpled them up. That's my 6:30 p.m. meal every day is ground turkey that I've cooked in a giant pan. I make a big batch of it. I put some salsa in there from Costco, the Kirkland salsa. Mix it all up. Right now, I've been putting in a little packet, 100-calorie packet of guacamole. If I really want to get lean, I need to cut that out just because it's more calorie. I know it's only 100 calories, but if I'm not losing weight, that tells me I need to take my calories down or do more cardio. And I don't like cardio. I mean, I know I do some amount. I need cardio for my heart. Heart disease is still the #1 killer in the world for everybody across the board. So you guys got to take care of your heart. Don't skip cardio completely. Always keep some amount of cardio in your routine. Always. Even if it's just 3 times a week, 20 minutes, some cardio. And, for someone my age, 53 going on 54 in September, cardio is that much more important. I mean, there's a lot of people I know. I graduated in 1987, and the Facebook group for my graduating class, every month or two, we lose somebody. It's either heart attack or cancer, but a lot of times it's heart attack. And these are people I went to school with all these people. And, every reunion I go to, the last reunion I went to about 6 months ago, they had a table set up with candles and pictures of everyone that had died from our class. It was a big class. It was over 500 kids, 522 I think we had, but it's a lot of us have gone. I want to say it's like 50 or 60 of us have died at this point. We graduated in 1987. So we're all 54 this year. Some of us, I guess, will turn 55. I'll be 54 in September. Yeah. Dane, that's what I'm expecting is coming. A mini cut, that is. Yeah, Dane. Do the mini cut. Take my word for it. It will, if you're stalled on your gains, you're just spinning your wheels. You're really just spinning your wheels because your body's just so accustomed and acclimated to that caloric surplus. It's not gonna, you're not gonna gain anything unless you do something different. And what are you gonna do? Eat more food? And you're usually much better off just switching gears for a little while and going back. A little mini cut, then get back to the gains. You'll be right back on track. You'll start gaining again. Joshua Renfro, better recommend supersets or straight sets to maintain lean muscle mass, size on a cut. straight sets. So I've said this before. I think most of us have it ass backwards, where off season we do a lot of heavy straight sets, which we should, and focus on getting stronger and this and that. And then when we're trying to get cut, whether it's just for the summer or for a contest or whatever, that's when we start doing all these drop sets, supersets, giant sets. Problem with that is those take a greater toll on your recovery ability, your nervous system, all that. So wouldn't it make more sense to use those intensity techniques in the off season when you have more calories and you're not doing as much cardio? You're probably sleeping better, so your recovery would be better in the off season. But instead, we wait until our calories are down, our carbs are down, we're doing more cardio. Maybe you're doing cardio twice a day, I don't know. You're in all these fat burners, you're probably sleeping like shit. You're waking up at like 3 a.m, can't go back to bed. I don't think that's the best time to be using all these extra intensity techniques. I think you run the risk of frying out your nervous system, your CNS, and losing muscle tissue. But I get it. You want to train more because you're looking better, you're looking leaner, you're tan, you're jacked. You want to just keep going and going and doing more and all these supersets, and you feel like $1 million, at least while you're training. A lot of times in prep, you'll feel great during the workout, and then the rest of the day, you're like, you're lying around like a lump. So yeah, I think, especially toward the very end, when you're very lean, I think you're much better off just doing straight sets with rest. Take a good minute, 2 minutes between sets, because really you're just trying to maintain muscle mass at that point. Whereas if you utilize those intensity techniques like the supersets, the drop sets, the giant sets in the off season, when you have more fuel available, more resources for your body to draw from to gain more lean muscle tissue, that's when I would incorporate those more. James Gary, it had to be that Vietor was doing extra. I've heard that. We're talking about the Colorado experiment, 1971. Geez. I've heard, who knows? You hear all kinds of crazy stuff. You hear stuff like Arthur Jones used to carry a pistol, and he would put the gun to Casey's head when he was failing on squats, saying 3 more reps or I'll shoot you in the head. Weird. Who knows how much this is true? It's like legend. It's like myth at this point. Gregorio Miller, Casey Vietor looked like he was on 100 mg of D-ball for that experiment. Well, he was obviously on gear. I mean, I think that goes without saying. So the before pictures, he hadn't trained for I think 6 or 8 or 10 months. It was a long time. He had lost a lot of muscle. I'm sure he had been off all gear. And then boom, back into heavy training, heavy eating, gear, kaboom. Puts on all the muscle he lost, and then he gains some more. Thank you, Glenn Hill. You guys are awesome. Glenn Hill from the UK. NEAT stands for non-exercise activity thermogenesis. So it's like everything else you do during the day. Going up and down your stairs, carrying laundry, I don't know, taking out the trash, walking your dog, anything. Or maybe if you have a job where you're doing physical things during your job, that's neat. You're burning calories. A lot of people use the watches and the Apple Watches and everything as steps because maybe they're only working out for an hour a day, an hour and a half a day, but they're walking around all over the place. So that will count your steps, tell you how many more calories you burn. Watching from a Stairmaster. Oh, I hate those Stairmasters. James Gary, diet recommended was a lot of clean food. Yeah, I would hope so. I don't think they were feeding him Taco Bell. Was there a Taco Bell in 1971? Probably. Sensa won't affect how lean you can get, but certain people can hold water on sweeteners. Yeah, so if that's the case, holding water is only an issue at the very end before you step on stage or you do your photo shoot or whatever. So, stop using sweeteners a few days out from the contest, a week out, to be safe, and I think you'd be fine. Dane, some artificial sweeteners cause gas, which leads to bloat. Well, most of us bodybuilders have a lot of gas anyway, but yeah, the sugar alcohols are the ones that are horrible for gas. I remember a lot of protein bars back in the day used to be loaded with sugar alcohol. I think the Detour bars were. I used to rip out the worst gas from those things. And Universal made a bar that was loaded with alcohol sugar. So you look on the label, it says sugars. It'll say 3 grams. It'll say other sugars, which is the alcohol sugars. It'll say 10 or 20 grams. And that's how you know you're going to light up the room a couple hours later. Yeah. Built to laugh. Why do you think this channel doesn't get that many views? You have great content, perhaps lack of drama. I don't want, I don't want to cry like, where? Thanks, Built to laugh. I mean, I don't want to say, well, maybe I don't want to point the finger and say those other channels are so negative and they report on all the bad news and who's talking shit about who hates who got arrested, who beat their wife, whose kidneys are failing. I mean, it's all news, and I can't take away anything from the channels that, like Trigilli, who's off YouTube now, but he's still doing very well with like Patreon. He's got people paying directly for his videos. Nick's a smart guy. Nick's not, don't worry about Nick. He's going to be all set. He's a very smart guy. He gives people exactly what they want. And Nick Miller with Nick Strength and Power does a phenomenal job with the news. It's reporting news. And, some of it's going to be good news. Some of it's going to be bad news. Yeah, I stay away from a lot of stuff. Sometimes I am limited by, if someone's a sponsor or something, I'm not going to report on them, their problems. I have to walk a very careful line with, I need press passes to go to these shows, so I can't upset IFBB and NPC in that way. I have to play the game. I have to do, I don't know, man. I don't know why we don't get more views, and I don't want to speculate. I think we have good content. It could be better. It can always be better. And we're always trying to make the content better, always trying to think of ways. So appreciate you saying that we have great content. So James, you were actually off by one word. It's non-exercise activity thermogenesis. You said achieved thermogenesis. You're close. Joshua Renfro, yes, much appreciate the insight. Making my way from 248 to 225. Yeah, you're going to look so much better. Kyler Ballinger, here lately I've been having problems doing number 2 on prep. What's the best supplements help with that? I don't, there's fibers. There's all kinds of fiber supplements. There's ones you can buy over the counter. You can go to Costco and get a big, what's that mainstream one that everyone gets? Fiber. There's these things, you just mix them into your food or your drink or whatever, but make sure you're drinking plenty of water. I would do raw vegetables. Raw vegetables for me do the trick. Green beans. I'm not into broccoli. It gives me the worst gas. But like green beans, cucumbers, carrots. Try to get a lot of fiber. Oats. The rolled oats, which have the big flakes, also really good. The more fiber and the more water, the more roto-rooter effect you have pushing that food through your digestive tract. But yeah, especially if you're dehydrated, you're going to have a real problem pooping. Gregory Miller, Casey still had crazy response to steroids. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, Casey was very underrated. He competed in the IFBB Pro League. What's it just called, the IFBB? Not a whole lot. Didn't do a ton of shows. Wish he had done more. Does anyone ever call me a Dilfe Torres? No. No one's ever called me that. If it's a dad, I'd like to F. No. I don't think so. I mean, there's MILFs. MILFs are more popular, I don't know if any of you guys have ever seen this website called Pornhub. It's this website. I'm just kidding, because you all freaking know Pornhub. Yeah, the most popular categories are stepmom, where it's supposed to be the stepmother having sex with her stepson, and the stepdad, or stepbro. It's a lot of the stepbrother and stepsister thing is huge. I mean, that's like, because I guess there's a lot of blended families out there, and that's like a huge fantasy. Is you get you get your parents marry, and you got this smoking hot stepsister, and you really shouldn't be doing anything sexual with your stepsister in real life, but I'm sure it's a huge fantasy for a lot of people. Yeah, DILF, no. God, we talk about all kinds of random shit here. Senso says 600 milligrams magnesium citrate before bed does the trick for me in prep at Kyler. Thanks for that. Yeah, so that's like the main ingredient in like X-Lax is magnesium. Magnesium will make you poop, for sure. You look huge, Big Ron. Thank you. 222. Yeah. Ooh, yeah, buddy. You won't see me flex my arm that way. It looks half the size. Terrible. It's terrible. I'll do it, but because there's no tricep. I have a good bicep, but the tricep sucks. So I have to do it all like this from this side. Oh, shit. Truth one. In the off season, I utilize 10-minute walks after meals as my cardio. Better insulin sensitivity and digestion I got from Stan Efforting. He utilizes for the strongman athletes. I heard about that from Hafthor Bjornsson, who played the Mountain on Game of Thrones and was also World's Strongest Man a few times, right? And Arnold's Strongest Man, he won. Hafthor, the Mountain. He was big on taking walks right after eat. I mean, I typically will do that. After breakfast, I walk my dog, and that's like a 30, 40-minute walk. And like a lot of times I'll walk him either before my 3:30 meal or after. Today's going to be after. It's already 3:19. I haven't walked him yet. But it's 90 degrees. I'm like hoping the temperature drops a little because poor little guy. It's going to be so hot for him. Looking full on. Thank you, Mark. Sensel. Psyllium husk works well too. Sensel says this is for if you can't poop, if you're constipated, which is a horrible feeling, especially the way we eat as bodybuilders. If you're putting down 5 to 6 meals a day and you're not pooping, that you get backed up. You get backed up quick. It's a lot of volume to have in your colon, your stomach, your whole digestive tract, and you need to get that. You need to keep it moving. You need to keep eliminating waste. You need to keep pooping. Otherwise, God, you're going to be miserable. Johnny says, running Sust, Primo, and Mast, 6 IUs of growth. It's a lot of growth. It's not a lot. It's just expensive. Keeping it simple, no trend makes me edgy. Yeah. I think trend makes me like psychotic. Like, I think back to the times when I'm like hating people in the gym for no good reason. Like, that just no reason. It's like trend makes me so antisocial, like hating people for no reason. Like, that guy. I started thinking, that guy looks like. I imagine he's a jerk. He's a this. He's that. I don't even know the guy. It's psycho. A Torres, if you were a single guy, would you ever date a 24-year-old girl who competed as well? 24 is too young for me. I would feel like a creeper, like a pedo, even though that's perfectly legal age in any country in the world, because I'm a dad and my son's 23, my daughter is 29. I couldn't date a girl younger than my daughter. I mean, I think my low limit would be like 30 if I were single now. And I don't know how high I would go. It's funny because you'll see a lot of girls on these shame videos that, Joey Swoll calls out these girls for shaming guys in the gym. And a lot of them will say stuff like, this guy, it's not their voice. It's that stupid TikTok generated voice. It's actually some woman DJ in Canada that recorded every word in English language for that. But it'll be like, this guy's checking me out and he's old enough to be my dad. Well, you know what? Biologically, men are wired to look at women who are in their childbearing years, their top fertility years, which is, 16 to 24, 18 to 24, somewhere in there is like their prime years. Biologically, that's where we're programmed to look at, just like they're programmed to look at the tall, athletic, the guys who can be their best protector. So if a guy's 50 years old, does that mean he's only going to look at 50-year-old women? He's not going to look at 30-year-old women or even 20-year-old women? Of course he is. Shouldn't be staring and being creepy about it, of course, no matter who the woman is. You shouldn't be staring and leering at any woman in the gym or anywhere, but you can't help but look at younger women if they're an attractive woman who's like 20, 25, even if you're 40, 45, 50, 55 years old, you're still going to be drawn to that young, attractive female. So I don't know what to tell you, chicks. I think I just got canceled just for calling them chicks. James Gary, anyone have gastric distress from the vertical diet? Someone spoke, I don't even know what the vertical diet is. Kyle Stinking. See, I like when you guys help each other. It's great to see that. Sensel helped out Kyler. Masters of Time, those palm muscles. Palm muscles? Huh? Oh, we're talking about Pornhub now? I don't know. That would be forearm. See how big this forearm is? Yeah. That's the same size. Arms are killer. I'm at 24 inches at 248. Why would you want to trade if you have 24-inch arms? Don't trade me. No, you don't want to do that. Unless it's 24 and they're fat. I mean, the arm measurements don't mean much unless if you're lean, and if it's a lean 24-inch arm, my God, that's like, I don't know who that would be, like Crizzo at his heaviest, or Ronnie Coleman when he was at his heaviest. I don't know who else would have legit 24-inch arm is massive. That's like this big around. That's like most people's thighs. Gregorio, you look great, man. Thank you. Built to laugh. Says, to walk around daily shirtless, which out of top 10 Olympia 22 physiques would you prefer to have? Chris Bumstead. Chris Bumstead. If I could have anybody's physique, I would have Chris Bumstead's. Yeah, he doesn't have the greatest arms. Oh, well. To walk around, like, if you know, would I want to have like Hadi or Derek's physique to walk around with? No, people would be like, ugh. Most people would be disgusted. And, you know, if you want to walk around and be accepted by society or, you know, be complimented or admired or whatever, you can't be a big freak like a Rami or a, you know. I think Bumstead, if I could have anybody's physique right now, if I could trade, God said, okay, anybody's body, I'd be like, Bumstead. You don't have no hesitation. He looks amazing, you know, small waist, wide shoulders, great looking guy, great floater's physique. He's a 4-time classic physique Olympia champion. It's crazy how so many people knock his physique. The guy's had the best classic physique in the world 4 years in a row, and he's only 28. Dean Bowen looking swole, time to get that master's card. Nope, nope, can't do it. This is why I can't. This tricep, it sucks. It sucks so bad. I won't even, you don't even want to know how bad that arm is. You'll never see pictures of it, ever. Every picture of me, you only see this arm. You never see this arm. It's because this tricep, the one I tore, it was terrible before I tore it. And after I tore it and they put it back up here, even worse. So that being said, have I seen guys who got their pro cards as masters who look worse than I would look? Yes. But it's not a contest of like who can get their pro card while still looking the worst. I never want to be that guy who gets up on stage and people think, or people say, he used to look so much better. Man, I remember when he was way better than this. His arms are smaller, his legs are smaller. And, you know, realistically, my legs have gone down a little bit now. My arms have gone down. My midsection's bigger. I do vacuums and everything, but my physique is worse than it used to be. You know, not many people get, we all have a prime. And I put up on my Ron Harris Muscle, my Instagram, I put a picture up of 2 front lat spreads. Age 32 in 2002 and age 42, almost 43 in 2013. I'm sorry, 43 in 2013. And I said, this span of time, this was my prime. And it was. I mean, that's when I looked the best. Early 30s to about mid 40s. And then it started going down. You know, I still look good. I don't look as good as I used to. And again, I never want to be that guy that gets up on stage and people say, man, I remember when he looked like, you know, I don't want to be that guy. Al Pacino having a baby at 82. God bless him. That's old to have a baby. Oof. Mark, did you ever use the original Parabola? I always felt it was much more powerful than everything else. I didn't start using steroids until very end of 96. And I did them from I got it like in November. My first cycle I started. 97, I was on gear the whole year. I took all of 98 off gear, about a little more than the first half of 99 off of gear. So I had about a little over a year and a half in there where I wasn't using anything. I had never used anything. I never used Parabola or Trin. I didn't use Trin for the first time. I never used Parabola. I never saw Parabola. Trin I used for the first time in, I think it was like 2001. So I was already 31, 32. Yeah. But I never saw the original Parabola. I always heard good things about it. I mean, it was so potent that Dorian swears up and down he only used 276 milligram amps a week of Parabola. So that's a little over 150 milligrams a week, which is, you know, you guys are all laughing because some of you use that every day of Tren. But that's how good the original Parabola was. Great physique, bro. Thank you, Anthony Venegas. Gregorio, don't want to be a creep? Yeah. These days, you don't want to be a creep. It's like the worst thing you can be. You know, that you get shamed on TikTok or Instagram. Oof. Good luck coming back from that. You know. Irimu boom. Big Ron, quick question. Can I be on Anavar year round? 10 milligrams? I'm 21. I wouldn't recommend it. No. Why would you do that? 10 milligrams is really not enough to do anything for you anyway. I always say oral only cycles are a bad idea just because they have to go through your internal organs, your kidney, your liver. you're just better off doing a little bit of a test. If you're 21, man, you don't need anything. You really don't. If you're going to use anything, just use a little bit of test and a little bit of like Deca or something. It's all you need. You know, I'm not going to give out cycle advice on this because I'm not the master of steroids. Yep, Joshua, because you're shredded. A lean 24-inch arm is Ronnie. There's not too many people ever had an arm legit. Joshua Renfro, Lee Priest's favorite arms of all time. They were damn good, damn good. Built to laugh. Chris Bumstead or Andrew Jack to walk around. Yeah, Andrew looks great. He's got a very athletic looking physique. Tiny, tiny waist, super wide shoulders. Andy's like 6'2". You know, Bumstead's over 6'1", 6'1 and a half. I mean, if you could be tall, jacked, and a little waist, come on. Wouldn't you rather? You know, I'm not a tall guy, so I'm not ripping on this, but wouldn't you rather look like that than someone like a Hottie or a Derek or whatever who's, you know, 5'5", 5'6", and, you know, wide as you are tall? It's great for the bodybuilding stage, but to walk around like that, I'd rather, if I could choose, if God said, all right, Ron, who do you want to be? What body do you want? I'd be the 6'2" guy with the massive shoulders. Andrew Jack has massive arms, little tiny waist, nice flaring quads. Johnny, the mustache is back. Did you ever rock it in the 80s, 90s? I never had a mustache in my life. I had a beard. I've had beards a couple times where they looked awful on me. My son's had a mustache for a while now. At first I thought it was stupid, but now it's like, Okay. Kevin Levroni said 24-inch guns, baby, when he's flexing his arm in the Maryland Muscle Machine video. I'm not sure if his arms at that time, 2000 were 24 inches. I don't think Kevin ever had 24. They would look freaking great, whatever they measured. I mean, some of these guys like, you know, Sean Ray, I doubt Sean Ray's arms were even 20 inches, but they looked freaking perfect. Perfect shape, cuts. You know, if they were 19 inches, they look better than a lot of people out there have 21, 22-inch arms, a big fat, just look like a big blob, like a big lump. I'd rather have a smaller arm with really nice shape, peak biceps, sweeping triceps, striations, splits. That's really impressive versus just you watch football, you'll see all these linemen have massive arms, but they look like most of them just look like big lumps, big shapeless blob sticking out of their shirt. Joshua, facts. Bumstead is the ideal physique, made more so than Arnold. I mean, he's the modern version because Arnold didn't have the leg development that he did. You know, if you ask most guys under the age of 30 right now one physique they would love to look like, they'll tell you Chris Bumstead. They're not going to say Hadi Chupan or Big Ramy. Most guys who work out in gyms who are trying to be bodybuilders or class physique competitors, you know, young guys who are in the gym to build their physiques, I call them all bodybuilders. Most of them would want to look like Bumstead. Sensel, Ron, are you able to maintain your physique on just TRT dose? Nope. A little more than that. So I do like 300 milligrams of test a week and 200 milligrams of Deca, which people will rip me apart right now. That's not TRT. Nope, it's not TRT. It's hormone optimization. It's where I feel the best, and I just did my blood work again. Just had my labs. A couple things were close to high, but nothing was really high. So by the grace of God, knock on wood, I'm good. I don't know. That's where I look and feel the best. So, you know, judge if you want. I really don't care. It's my life. I'm really not that concerned about what people think about me anymore because at the end of the day, I realize people only care about themselves anyway. You know, one of the number one regrets people have on their deathbed is I wasted so much of my life, so much time and energy worrying about what people thought about me, what they said about me. Oh no, and it held them back from doing things they wanted to do, being what they wanted to be, going after jobs, relationships that they wanted because they were worried about what people would think. Don't worry about what people are going to think. It's your life. It's not their life. And when you're on your deathbed, when it's all said and done, are you going to be happy you didn't do all those things you wanted to do because, well, at least people didn't talk crap about me? Let them talk. Truth one, how did you tear your tricep? Were there any pains leading up to the tear? Yes, it was in pain for years before that. And in fact, it was torn. I tore the long head, I think, long before I tore the lateral head. So the long head, I tore, I don't know how. I used to do all kinds of stupid shit like weighted dips with 3 and 4 plates. And anyway, so right after I competed in 2011, I did the 2011 Team Universe. And I had been doing kickboxing and I stopped doing it about a month or two before the show, 2 months before the show. And then once the show was over, I went back to kickboxing. And the very first day I went back to sparring, somebody kicked or punched me, I don't know what, and I fell back. And to break my fall, I put that arm down, my right arm just instinctively underneath me. Tricep came right off. I felt it go immediately. It started getting all red and swollen. And I had surgery 4 weeks later. Was it 2 weeks? I think I was able to get the surgery like 2 weeks later, and then 4 weeks later they did my shoulder. But yeah, it had been, when they opened it up, when I woke up in the recovery room, the surgeon said to me, "Did you know that you had partially torn your tricep," meaning the long head, long time ago, because it was way up here and the ends were completely blunt, meaning they had healed. It had healed, the tear had healed. Yeah. Anyone use semi-glutaride? I don't even know what that is, semi-glutaride. Comparing yourself to a normal person at the mall or the store, you'd be massive and look so good though. Yeah, but I'm not, I don't compare myself. Unfortunately, I've been working in this business for 32 years. I've been around all the biggest, best physiques that have ever walked this earth. Nasser, Ronnie, Dorian, Lee Haney, Heath, Cutler. I've been around all these guys for my entire adult life. So I don't compare myself necessarily, but other people do. They say, "Well, you work with these guys, you should look like that." No, you have to be a genetic freak. They say, "Well, you're on steroids." No, you still have to be a genetic freak. Plenty of you guys watching this, you're on all kinds of steroids. You look nothing like a pro bodybuilder because you don't have the genetics. Most of us don't. Most of us just have average human genetics, and we can look way, way better than what we started from, but we're not going to look like Phil Heath. No, you're not going to look like Kai Green or Phil Heath unless you have their parents. Dean Bowen, real Parabola was gone by 94, 96. So yeah, I missed the boat on that. Larry Holstein, "Hey Ron, I'm 37 now. When I was younger and I competed, I could never get past 215 even on gear. Now on TRT, at my age, I'm 230, leaner than I was then. Is that largely due to muscle maturation?" Well, you probably put on all that muscle over the years. Maybe your metabolism slowed down and it's easier for you to put on muscle now. Yeah, you obviously built a lot more muscle over the years. Like I said, you said you were younger, so you kept training. You've been putting muscle on consistently this whole time. Chris Bump says, "Crazy adults." Mark, "Parabola was insane. I swear you could have looked at the bottle and gained 10 pounds of muscle. It was made in France, if I recall correctly." Yeah. Tim Whisker, "For cutting, good to do 50, 30, 20, PC fat, or what do you like?" I don't worry about macros like that. I really don't. To me, it's calories in, calories out. My protein's always high. I keep the healthy fats in, and when I want to lose weight, I really just cut the carbs back a bit. Well, first I cut out all the junk after the winter, and then if I want to keep going down, I just cut carbs back. I don't worry about these ratios, but you can if that works for you. I guess that would do it. You could think it in terms of your macro ratios. Larry Holstein, what's that? I'm gonna click here. "Same here, Ryan. Do 300 megs a week TRT, also a sweet spot. Thoughts on Proviron?" Says Johnny. "Great for boosting your free testosterone, which is actually more important than your total. Because if you have a low free testosterone number, it doesn't matter what your total is because that means very little of it is being utilized. It's not available to be used. So that's what a lot of people use Proviron for. They'll use standard dose like 50 milligrams a day. Usually comes in 25 milligram tablets. So taking that every day will increase your free testosterone and you'll get more out of the steroids that you're using if you're using steroids. What age would you recommend steroid use? I don't want to recommend, but just to be curious on what age. I did a whole video on the Anabolic Doc channel about this about 3 weeks ago. And I said, we look at two things, your actual age and your emotional age. So I don't want to see anybody like under the age of 21 using steroids. I know plenty of people do. I don't want to see anyone under 21. And even then, are you emotionally mature? Are you stable in your life? Or are you still kind of like a child in some ways emotionally? Because these things, they do wreak havoc with your emotions, especially stuff like tren. If you can't deal with, conflict, stress, just the things that life's going to throw at you every day in a rational manner without flipping out, you shouldn't be using steroids. Let's see. Mark, did you see pictures from this Stefan Matala kid? No. Jackson, mind blowing, would love to see my open, blah, blah, blah. I think somebody tried to send me pictures of that. I'm at that off-season Jay Cutler arms without the striations. Long way to go. Tim was just good. Thanks for doing these sessions. I'm 40. I remember the beginning. Yeah, I need to go eat now, guys. It's my 3:30 meal is a little bit late. I want to eat that and then take Branch for a walk. My little pit bull Labrador pup. Love him. Love my little puppas. So that's it, guys. Again, on this channel right now, we have 2 new videos that dropped today. We have MD Global Muscle with interviews of Emily Schruber, Robin Strand, and Joe Seaman. Joe and Robin heading into the Toronto Pro on Sunday. We're going to be doing coverage of that after the judging, and then again after the finals. We're going to be doing wrap-ups live on this channel. So check that out, guys. Set your notifications. Set notifications in YouTube, and you have to have them enabled on your phone to know when we're going live. And that's it, man. Thank you guys so much. Hope you're enjoying summer so far. Have a great weekend. Stay safe. If it's very hot, stay cool, stay hydrated. Take care of yourselves, guys. Thanks for watching.